And now, where was I? I was talking about how Adam made great points that sustainability is more than just environmentalism. It also includes things like culture. And so with that, I'm excited to announce and bring up to the stage Andy Smallman to talk about his work.
Okay, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to try to talk into the mic, apparently. That's me. This is Puget Sound Community School, and I'm going to tell you a story that you probably are familiar with. So you may have learned this when you were young. It's the story of the emperor's new clothes. So yeah, the one that you remembered when you were a child. So there's some elements of this story that I'm going to tell perhaps a little bit different than you remember, but I'm going to try to first familiarize yourself with the story. And first of all, we need an emperor. And what was the likelihood that we'd get 2 Ronald Reagan slides in this evening tonight? I'm trying not to be political. I'm trying to pick somebody that I thought worked well as the emperor. And the emperor has some specific characteristics that we need to be aware of. First of all, he's vain. And secondly, he must look good. And that's really the critical thing to understand about our emperor, is that he wants to look really good. In fact, that is the most important part of his life, is that he wants to look good. Everything that he puts his energy in is to look good. Okay? So people know this, and so some other members of his empire are aware of this, and I'm going to refer to them as the bad guys. You remember these guys? So a couple of bad guys. And really, that may be a little bit too hard on them, because they're just doing what the society has trained them to do, which is really just try to make some money. And what they've figured out is that they can capitalize on the emperor's desire to look good. And how they're going to go about doing that is that they're going to tell the emperor that they have created a cloth that is so extraordinary in its brilliance that the person wearing it will easily be the best dressed and the best looking person ever. Emperor is quite taken by this. He would like to wear such a set of clothes. But it also has another factor about this particular cloth, is that anyone that is stupid can't see it. The story's all familiar, right? So anybody that's stupid can't see it. So the emperor's a little bit nervous about the fact that these 2 guys that he now has contracted to build him or make him this suit of clothes that is going to make him look the best looking person ever. So he sends somebody to check up on these guys while they're making the suit. And he sends one of his high officials. So we got Reagan and we got Cheney in this one, right? So let's refer to him as the public official. So the emperor sends one of his high-ranking officials to go check up on the guys who are making him this fine suit of clothes. And he goes down there, and guess what? The high-ranking public official can't see the fabric. And he has this kind of uh-oh moment. If I can't see the fabric, therefore I must be stupid. So he decides to go back and report to the emperor, oh my gosh, sir, this will indeed be the most fabulous set of clothes that ever. I saw the fabric. It is marvelous. So the public official perpetuates the myth. So now the emperor feels assured that the fact that he's going to be wearing this fine set of clothes, he decides what he'll do is throw a party in his honor. And he will unveil his fine suit of clothes. The public will get to see him in this, and everyone will bask in his glory. So he plans this big party in the form of a parade, and he goes marching down in front of the public, who stand before him, and because they're well-trained and have been told exactly what to think and what to do, that they indeed say to the emperor, despite the fact that he's not wearing anything, they do say, sir, you look fabulous. In fact, the adult next to the next adult next to the next adult are all saying it louder and louder and louder till it becomes a virtual cry of how fabulous the emperor looks. They don't want to rock the boat. But here we have the critical part of the story. So there's a little boy in this crowd who sees the truth and sees it for what it is. So we have the child. Anybody remember this one? All right. I believe this is Hermie from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer animation thing that we see every Christmas. But the child has not yet been burdened with the arrogance of adulthood. The child sees it for what it is, and he says, "What? The emperor is wearing no clothes." So we have his innocence, he's honest, he speaks what he knows to be the truth. And then the really critical part of the story happens, the part that is so meaningful and actually heartbreaking for me, is his father comes and tells him, "No, that is not what you see. The emperor is well dressed." He begins to condition his son to think and look and behave in the way that the world he sees as the father is the way that it works. So, the emperor's new clothes. It's not all lost, though, because that little boy, his voice is starting to spread. There are others in the crowd who certainly agree with him, and you hear these little murmurs. But as the story closes, the emperor is still standing proud while he's not wearing anything. Okay, so I spend half my time telling you this, and I'm an educator. What in the world am I trying to do? I'm trying to tell you that's the story of our current educational system. That we have sold our children a fabric that is invisible. What we're doing to them is sitting them in classrooms while they're staring out the window, and we're telling them the things that are going to get them ahead. Get the good SAT score, it'll get you into the good college, son. Don't pay attention to what gives you joy. Do what we're telling you. The emperor is wearing clothes. But Daddy, the emperor's not wearing clothes. And onward and forward it goes. So now we're going to make them take standardized tests, and they're going to be confused. What does this have to do with anything that I'm interested in? We're going to burden them with homework till their backs break. And on it goes, that these poor children now have no clue what they're passionate and interested in, because we've told them what to think and how to think and who they get to think it with. We've told them exactly what they need to do to get into the good college. We've told them that if you get into the good college, you're going to be set for life, because it's going to actually get you into the good grad school. The good grad school is going to get you the good job. The good job's going to get you the good salary. The good salary is going to get you the good house. The good house and the good salary, that's going to get you the good spouse. And it will all set you up so you can retire and do exactly what you want 60, 70 years later. And that's how they look. And by the time they're there, they indeed say, yeah, the emperor looks pretty well dressed. I work for a school. In fact, 15 years ago, I founded a school called Puget Sound Community School that serves middle and high schoolers. What we do every day, our intention every day, is to do things that help give the students joy, that bring joy into their lives. We have no required academic subjects. What we do is collaborate with the students to help them pursue the things that make them happy and not have them have to think that the emperor is well-dressed. There are 3 specific things that we work on with them. Number 1, we want them to really know themselves well. So we talk about self-awareness. Number 2, we're really interested in what gives them joy. So we want them to be involved in things that light a fire within them. What is your passion, or what are your passions? Let's do them now. Let's not tell you that you have to put those off until you go home and get your homework done. Let's do them at school right now. And the third thing kind of is the encompassing piece. We do it in a loving and nurturing community. In fact, when I talk about our school, what I tell people is this is the basic product, is to immerse children in a loving and nurturing environment that supports them for exactly who they are and does not try to make them into something that they're not. So self-awareness, passion, and community. Imagine what that's like for a child, as opposed to being in a setting where they're constantly told what to do and what's going to get them ahead, and it robs, and that style that robs them of the things that they're most interested in. So let's go back to our story for just a second. So we've got the emperor, just wants to look good. We've got the public official who wants to perpetuate the myth. We've got the bad guys who are just trying to make a buck. We've got the angry father and the public that are just grown-ups trying to perpetuate what has happened to them. And, hey, it was good enough for me. And we got the little boys that are just trying to speak from their voice, from their hearts. So my hope tonight is that one of you nurtures that little boy inside of you. That's what I'm working for, and I've done it for 15 years with groups and groups of kids. Puget Sound Community School. Thank you.